Yeah, people, bless upon yourself. Thanks for tuning in back again to the podcast. You don't know, it is the time we're going to react to the game, the Unity Cup. You don't know, it is Saturday. I understand it's another, and it's another. You will call it unsurprised. Nick on that podcast again. You understand, very surprising one that Daniel, not usually on a Saturday you will be here. But again, it's the season of the Reggae Boys. It's international time. It is the season where the players start to play a lot more games for their international teams. You understand? But I mean, yeah, always a day today, before we get into it.
It's pretty good. Um, able to watch the Jamaica game and then get right into the Champions League game. So it was a very good day today.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate that the Reggae Boys didn't able to get the job done, but good day of football. Can't complain.
Yeah, I think today is not the day to talk about Inter Milan. Tomorrow we will talk a little bit more. Today is all about what happened in London at GTEC Stadium versus Nigeria. The Reggae Boys fail yet again. We came so close. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm a little bit disappointed of reason why did want to lift that trophy, but I can say the game that we played earlier versus Nigeria, that was the first time my son actually watched a game from minute 1 to minute 90, and he was living it. Yeah, right beside him. He was kicking every ball. He when the final come to a end and it is penalty. I don't know. That was his first time watching a penalty shootout. When that game finished, when Dwayne Atkinson missed that penalty, you could see the disappointment on his face. You could see the sadness on his face. He went right under the bed to lay down and just have that little moment of disappointment that he was hoping to see his country, lift this of trophy that he will witness for the first time, as it was his first 90 minutes of action. Usually watch like 25, 15 minutes of a game and then disappeared. But this one, he was right there. Did you feel any disappointment the boys or they conduct themselves in the game?
No, not really disappointing. I'm just disappointed, not really devastated. Um, but just more as far as uh the performance was pretty decent, especially in the first half. But second half, I feel like the quality of the game, I think both sides, the quality of the game did went down, and we just couldn't able to keep the ball. To get what I'm
Yeah.
saying, we just couldn't get to able to put the foot on the ball and knock the ball around a little bit. But overall, pretty decent game. You when you go to penalty shootout, it's a lottery. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like anybody can win and lose in a penalty. You get what I'm saying? So pretty decent game, especially in the first half. Good goal from Kadim Dixon. He put in his work. Cephas Sabah, very good first half. He set up that chance as well, and another debutant, another first debut, even though it's his second game. Russell, finally we see that what he can do getting into the box. We've seen that from club football, so you can see that he's one of those players, that midfielder that can get onto goals, and you know what I'm saying. So pretty decent game. Very unfortunate to lose at the end. What's his name that makes? Is it Watkins that missed a penalty?
Dwayne Atkinson.
Atkinson that missed a penalty. And that does very unfortunate. To come on. Players that normally came on to take penalty. Not really into the game. You get what I'm saying? So your vibes not really did it. So very unfortunate, but we'll just have to move on and see what's next.
Yeah, I don't, as I said, it's a lottery. I don't want to go much into what happened in that penalty shootout, as we've seen some of the biggest names, in world football go on to miss, in penalty shootout. So I don't want to put any blame on Dwayne Atkinson. I don't want to put any blame on whoever select that pool to kick, in the penalty shootout. I don't want to blame anybody. It just can happen at any given time. You understand?
Yeah.
It's just one of them things that if a team didn't make it over, the hurdle, the end of the penalty shootout. That's it. They have to pack up and just, and just have to suck it up and just go again. You understand? And just hit the training ground and, hope that penalty shootout can motivate them moving forward. But I want to touch on the diaspora, the supporters that in England as well, not just in London, but in England overall. I want to give them massive shout out. They support the team from the get go until it end. The lap of honor. Congratulate the team as well. Big up to the best of the best. Superstar names that was watching the game as well, from players to entertainer, you name it, even movie star, understand? So that goes to show you that, brand Jamaica is such a massive brand, outside of Jamaica, and they have done a really good job. And I'm hopefully, that the marketing team for the Jamaican Football Federation can actually look into, moving forward to see if any friendlies, will any windows that have leg room for a friendly moving forward, we can invite, African team and play them in London. You could see the turnout. You could see that the players a little bit more, happy. You could see they were moving a lot more quicker, on the pitch. It's just, players even talk about it as well. Like, look, it's a good environment to be around. It's good to play, international games, in UK, and very prestigious pitch and all of that. So going forward, I think, at least maybe once, twice a year, we should at least look in. You see those games that we normally play, Daniel? Some of those friendly games, against like the likes of Trinidad, the Caribbean team, they, somewhere around this time after the season end, we can look into get some friendlies games, not against Trinidad, but teams that have that large supporting cast in the DAS in England as well. You have a massive, you would say a Middle Eastern, Turkish. You understand, so many different, international cultures in London as well. So I think that's something that we can look forward, and not really much, into like teams like Guatemala in over there at Red Bull Arena in New York as well. But moving forward, it's a good look, and God bless the team that the team looking a little bit more of a team. You understand? I don't know, man. But whatever is in that food, whatever is in that drink, whatever the coaching staff is doing, they should keep it up, because the team looking really good, and we're here to support the team. You understand? But you have anything that you want to say on the supporters, the fans that turn out to watch us, in the Unity Cup?
Yeah, I think it was a very good turnout. I know you were saying that some people was having a hard time getting tickets. You get what I'm saying? But it was a good turnout. We know the history of Jamaica. A lot of Jamaicans living in the UK, so we always gonna have a very good turnout. You get what I'm saying? So it was a very good look, and also for Nigeria, for for TNT, Trinidad and Tobago, for Ghana. There was a lot of support even in those games too. You get what I'm saying? So we're glad to see that there are people who otherwise from England, Ireland, Wales. There's a lot of people that support these teams regardless of where the match playing. So and you're right. I think Jamaica need to start looking into start playing more games in England, because I think that's where support is. You get what I'm saying? I feel like that's where a massive support. I feel like it doesn't matter where the team play in England. I feel like the support will be there.
I guess
You get what I'm saying?
and they have to be a little bit strategic. I was talking to somebody, in England, earlier before the game start, and he was telling me that, like, North London, where especially in the neighborhood of Tottenham, there's a massive. There's more than 90%, of Jamaicans, full up that neighborhood. You understand? And then when you go down south, to Brixton, the south area, you have Brixton, Crystal Palace, all those teams down there. Is another massive, neighborhood of Jamaicans as well, especially in the Midlands, Aston Villa, the Wolverhampton over there. So moving forward, I think it's something that we can look into as as a team, as the marketing team for the federation going forward. But first off, first quarter of the first quarter of the game, it was a game that we expected. The Reggae Boy team started the game on the back foot, and they did well. They applied themselves. Well. They I mean they conceded that early goal. Didn't really want to concede early in the half, versus Nigeria, because I know it would be a difficult game. You'll be chasing the game. They have a very, very good, two powerful midfielder, especially one of them that the G Tech is his home, one was his home pitch, Onyeki and Ndidi, two proven Premier League players. You understand? But we applied ourselves really well, and we stood up to the chance. We gave up a sloppy goal. It was all about the combination of Mason Holgate and Richard King. Cut that ball that went down, and Amari Bell Wing didn't manage to stop the cross. But you think we should have, be a little bit more proactive in that first quarter of the game and not concede early.
Yeah, I think the team seemed like the team was sleeping. I think that goal kind of wake us up, because we kind of score back right away. You get what I'm saying? But I think we've been very what you call it, very like it's like the team being very reactive. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think in the last game we take it to Trinidad. You get what I'm saying? I feel like in this game we're more reactive, because if you can see how the game played out, they score, we score. They score, we score. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So very, 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 like, very slow.
It's something like what happened in Trinidad game as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that's is that a mental problem, but I think that's something that the coach have to talk to the players. Like, we have to take the game to the opponent. And I was going through Trinidad, Nigeria team. They have a lot of good players. They bring a lot of when I heard Chikwueze, what's his name?
Taylor from Leverkusen, Ndidi, Onyeki.
I was kind of surprised. I was like, wait, they've been the A team. You get what I'm saying? So it was a good game, but I think that we are very, very slow to react. You get what I'm saying? Especially defensively and stuff like that. And I did see from what happened in the last game, where Holgate, he came all the way out and foul a play and get a yellow card again. I think defensively we kind of look a little shaky defensively. I know in our Greenstone era, I think we were very good defensively. I think that's not what a problem, but I think Steve McClain needs to start work on the defense a little bit. I think we're gonna have a problem going forward in the defense.
And I think we've seen something new with the wing backs. A little bit of when we trying to get into position. The wing backs kind of a little bit inverted. We never really seen that. No coach before. For the Reggae Boys, and I think defensively as well, the two wing backs need to a little bit more, position awareness. Of players running in between the center half and their position as well. So there's a few little stuff that can really correct, moving forward, but you can't blame them too much. You understand? They are doing a really good job. The team have improved, and if you ask us that, you have said it as well, that going into this tournament, you want to see a little bit of unity, which I think you said it might be hard at that time, but it proved us wrong that the team have a togetherness, the team playing together, and the players they just stepped up, and the players them just play true to their potential and the quality of the standard of where they are at the moment, and they show that they can play football. They show that they can compete even against a very good midfield, because when you look at it, Ndidi, a Premier League player, Onyeki, once was, but playing for Augsburg, he was on loan. You understand? And Teller is a player that been around the block in England and Leverkusen. So their midfield was really impressive. And Drisia, a Rangers striker, Simon, the captain, a veteran player for the Nigerian team, played in France. And Chukwueze, I think he's the man of the tournament. If you ask me, he was very good. He was excellent. He's right up there with Ronald Cephas to get the MVP of the tournament. If you ask me if I should name somebody, but yeah, that was it. And they have a player that played, the defender played for Slavia Prague, and another player that played for Brentford B. But other than that, it's a very good team. The keeper look okay. Local player played in Africa, in South Africa as well. But yeah, it was a very impressive team. But I think how we expect it to play. The game started out that way, but it I did want the game to start with that way, not just for us to get on the front foot, because I want to learn from these players. Because you goes up against a Trinidad team that back off, you're coming up against a Nigerian team that will look to play the football a little bit more aggressive on the front foot with the football, try to be a little bit more dynamic in their attacking third, and that will help us fans out here that to show that where the level of this team is at. How can we move from attack at the front foot in 2 days and come right back on the back foot defending, fighting for our life, and just put the all bodies behind the ball and work together. And it showed that this team have a two-way mentality that they can defend and they can attack. And if I have one problem with the midfield, I think I'm still having that issue with Isaac Hayden. And I've seen Isaac Hayden, and this is not a negative, this is just a constructive criticism of Isaac Hayden. I want to see his present. You see, when defenders have the ball, Daniel always said it. I want to see, and I think Isaac Hayden he had this problem when I was a youngster. I used to have the same problem. My present of a CDM, not feeling much of the football a lot. Because when the players have the ball in the back four, he don't show up a lot. He don't let his present be a lot more aggressive. So they have to give him the football. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be speak. You understand? You don't have to be physical, but let your present be a little bit more aggressive.
But hear this, I don't think Isaac Hayden is is comfortable taking the ball with his back turned towards goal. I just don't think that's him. I think I'm gonna give you a comparison. I think he's like a Casemiro. You get what I'm saying? I think he's more like to do the dirty work. You get me? He could play in those pocket space and pick up the ball, but I don't think that's his game to be his back turning towards goal and linking up play or starting off, taking up the ball off the defenders. I just don't think that's his game. That's why he didn't able to make it at Newcastle, because look at Bruno Gamero, Tonali. You get what I'm saying? That's why Eddie O just did not see this guy as one of the guys, a part of his team. You get what I'm saying? So I think, but I feel like at our level, where we're playing in the CONCACAF level, I think he should still able to be confident and pick up the ball and able to turn. But I just feel like whenever a team is pressing us, I just don't think that's something that he's gonna be good at. So maybe if when we're playing a double pivot with Kaiser Palmer, I think Kaiser Palmer is be the one more comfortable to do that. But I just think that Isaac Hayden is just not that type of guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a man going forward for us. You understand? And I have to say this as well. He changed the midfield. You understand? His quality that he bring into the team change and all the midfield tree want to play. And if you look at even go back to the Trinidad game, Ravel was the one that dropped deep and pushed him up because he was more comfortable picking the ball off the both center half feet. You understand? Even sometimes they dribbling and they just start the ball and Ravel just walk and just pick it up and move again. So I think going forward, we can set up the team a little bit more tactically that way, where Casey Palmer actually drop in the pocket of the midfield tree and move forward again. You understand?
Yeah.
So I think just that is the only issue I have moving forward with Isaac Hayden. Just let your presence feel a little bit amongst the defenders that it doesn't matter what they want to do, they will give you the ball. Just let your presence be aggressive more. So they have to give it to you. There's no chance. You is the midfield. Yeah. And if you look at the CONCACAF region, the teams that like the Panamanian, the Central American team, if you just say the US, their number 6 is a lot more. Their number 6 is a lot more physical. Their presence always felt. Even the game that I think Johnny Cardoza start in the first leg in Kingston in the Nations League, I think quarterfinals. They feed him the ball. They feed him. So I think if he can add a little bit of that to his game, I think it will get more out of him. And the midfield 3 can get a lot more better because if you let KC go back and then try to be that man that drop in between the two center half or drop as close as them and dominate the ball there and then try to play it around while he stepped up a little bit, then KC Palm have to run back up. So if he can do that, then he will probably would have save a little bit of energy in KC Palm Alex, because you know that he's not the player that going to give you a straight up 60-minute game without not being somewhere disappeared in the game. So that's the only thing I have with him. But Isaac Hayden, he bring very good quality, to the midfield. Casey Palmer, have done a lot, and it shows me that, again, Casey Palmer can hold his own. And I was calling out for him as well that, look, it's been, a devastated season for him, at Hull, his first season. He needs to make these two games going forward, getting more farm on the football, getting some, get some minutes and have that confidence, and he started to play with that swagger. John Russell is there as well, so I have no issue, really going forward rather than that I just pointed out. I mean, what you have to say?
Yeah, I think the players that we're gonna have to come back going forward in the Gold Cup and the in the World Cup qualifiers, I think that we need to see what's the partnership is gonna be. Who's gonna be going forward playing with that double pivot that we play with.
Yeah.
And I think that Isaac Egan gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive, as you said. I think in the first game against Trinidad and Tobago, we allowed one of his play that then when the keeper, I think it was the keeper, the defender passed the ball to him, and he was very casual. You get what I'm saying? So I think that that's something that he needs to improve. Is gonna be we're gonna be in trouble. You get what I'm saying? Because you have to be alert. You have to be more than that. You get what I'm saying? You can't just. We don't want a midfielder that just all he can do is just win by the ball. You have to can play the ball a little bit. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like especially when we playing against smaller teams, we're gonna be dominating the ball. I know that what happened today, we never was gonna have the ball. I know we was gonna play on the break, but overall, I just want to see who is gonna be that 3-man in that midfield going forward, and what's that thing. I think Casey Palmer definitely gonna be someone is gonna be in there, but as far as John Russell and Isaac Hayden, I think who is gonna be that man? Who is there to come in? Because I just feel like it's too soon for Morrison because of the he just came back, and you get what I'm saying. So I feel like it's still gonna be too soon to have him in there. But
I think moving forward, we should keep the midfield and let them build that confidence going forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, if the coach still want to have Ravel, going forward, in the squad, someone that can come on and bring that extra bit of quality off the bench, can just someone that can be a little bit different from the starting front three. I wouldn't have no problem with that moving forward. But my question though, Casey Palmer, one back his position and one back, a little bit of happiness, with amongst the Jamaican fans that been calling for him that he needs to stay home or he needs to start to play on the bench more because he was out and down. You understand? His back was against the wall, and you feel that going forward, he showed something in the two games, especially today. Especially in the second half, he showed and stepped up that he can be a two-way midfielder, someone that even can drop in that six, collect the ball, build the momentum, bring the ball forward, someone that can stuck in, defend, be aggressive. And we saw something that we have never really seen for a long time today. Players was actually in the Nigerian face, was actually fighting. We don't naturally see that amongst the Reggae Boyz players. We normally say, look, the UK players, they're a little bit soft. They're not aggressive. They're not fighting for the country. But it shows that today, look, they're willing to put everything on the line. And this game, it shows that it was a bragging rights as well, not just to win the game. Because the Nigerian, they were talking a lot of BS, before the game starts. So it shows that, man, the player them conduct themselves real well. And Casey Palmer won back his role in the national setup as I yet again.
Yeah, I think in the last when I just saw Casey Palmer, I just feel like he never really gave us any performance. You know what I'm saying? But I think that these two games, he really able to earn himself back a spot back in the team. And you get what I'm saying, after didn't really have any good, especially coming off of the season that they have, and able to get back, put himself back into that selection for being a starting man on the team. You get what I'm saying? I think he was very confident with that penalty, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to score that Pananka. That doesn't seem like someone who's
Shot of
with a
confidence.
shot of confidence. You get what I'm saying? And then I see he's trying to play forward more. I don't know
Yes.
if that's because of extra man. Because we normally play with a double, like and two midfielders.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's Casey Palmer is a player that is you need support as far as, so we're playing with a 3-man midfield now. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I don't know if that make him feel much more comfortable going forward and able to move. Because I feel like when you're playing with a 2-man midfield, you are very scared to give away
Yeah.
that ball. Because when you
Yeah.
give away that ball, you say, "Oh shit, I just one more player have to support you." You get what I'm saying? So I feel like the 3-man midfield does suit him. He may be able to go forward, get back, and help out. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like the 3-man field is much more better for him. So I think he did really good in these 2 games. So I think he definitely gonna be one of those players where earn his spot back in the 11.
Yeah, so this game actually showed us, moving forward away, the team can perform, the team can stuck in when you're coming up against tougher teams. And I think going away, our next game will be away, in BV and a very stubborn small pitch. They show that they can get stuck in, they can get a little bit dirty, they can adapt to whatever scenario, and hopefully it is the same where we just take the game to the opponent team. But I want to say this: Jonathan Russell, he makes this Reggae Boy midfield tree a big difference. Time and time
Him, go in your
again,
role.
time and time again, we see lack of movement towards the opponent goal when we crying out for at least one midfielder to just take that gamble, try to get into the box and try to do something. I try to be an end of any little ball that is getting, and he did that exactly same thing. He scored a goal, which he's been scoring goals, for the Barnsley team. And I'm going to say this, for Barnsley, the season that just wrapped up in the League One, John Russell, had 7 goals from inside the box. He actually scored more goals inside the box than outside the box. He scored 4 goals outside the box and 7 goals inside of the box. And this is one of the opportunity. We saw him picked up a ball off the right hand side in the midfield, driving inside to his left, actually try to shoot with his left foot, and he replicates something that he's doing over and over and over, in the season that just wrapped up. So he showed that he's a quality. And I said this on the morning inside of that. Look, maybe someone got it wrong, in the last 2 years for Jonathan Russell when he joined Barnsley, of playing him as a 6. Yeah, when he joined the club, yeah, he was playing as a 6. He was playing as a 6 for the Reggae Boys. I think one of those games that with under Algrimson. So I'm just saying, maybe someone got it wrong, or maybe the player just get mature and just start to elevate his game and showed something on the training pitch that he can play in a more advanced role. And from moving from a 6, he played 6 early in the season for Barnsley of 2024. Then he started transition and play more as an attacking player. And when he started to play there, that's when his game started to elevate a lot more. And I'm going to say this, Daniel, just listen to this and the viewers as well. John Russell, of this season that just ended, I compared Jonathan Russell's shots towards a goal with Leon Bailey's stats of last season, which was our best player overall as a Reggae Boy player. Yeah, as you say, as an outfield player as well. Leon Bailey had 53 shots on goal in the Premier League. So I'm comparing both league format, yeah, of League One and the Premier League. So John Russell, this season that just finished, had 58 shots towards the goal. Leon Bailey, who's one of our most prolific attacking players of last season, which was his best season, had less shots. Yeah, 5 less shots than J. Ross of his current stats of 2024, 2025. What that shows you that this player has something about him. He's just not a midfielder. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the last time I watched Jonathan Russell live, it was that game against the World Cup, and he was playing DM under Argrinson, and I was kind of I was like, yo, I think he even scored that goal in that game.
I think it was a Mexican game.
Is it a Mexican game? You
Yeah.
sure?
No, 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 no. The Gold
It
Cup. The
was,
Gold Cup.
yeah, the World Cup. I think he scored in that game, and I was like, this player can get forward. You know, like he have the legs. He's very physical. He remember, that Yaya Toure. You know, very big on. You get what I'm saying? So when they show me the clips that he's been scoring a lot of goals, then they say, yo, he's a D. He was playing as a number 6. I was like, what? You know, this player has the legs. Let him get forward. You get what I'm saying? And you said that he's able to score, able to get off more shots. That shows that this player is
He got
very.
off more shots in Leon. You know, I look. You see, I was trying to compare it with Leon season that in the Premier League that just finished up, and it was nowhere. So I was like, let's go back to Leon Bailey, best season of his life playing for Aston Villa. That was 2023-2024 season, and he still managed to outshot a player that who's supposed to be, our most prolific attacking players. You understand that? Show that this player just not just a midfield player, but is someone that have a high for the goal as well. And for the selection panel that was kept overlooking J. Rust as a midfielder for the Reggae Boyz in the past, that whatever reason they had for not picking him, they were wrong. And I'm hopefully they can come to realization that, look, they were wrong, and it's time now to correct those mistakes and start to pick him and move forward. And there's another thing as well. J. Ross that I found, J. Ross is in the top 3 of in the League One of the most headed shots on goal. So he shows you that he has a high for the goal and he can attack the football.
Yeah.
You understand?
I think, and I think that's a weapon that we can definitely use. Get on the line, put the ball in the box. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's something that's really, really. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's something that we definitely can use as a weapon. Very big, strong, tall player. You get what I'm saying? So, not shy. I don't think we should be shy to put the ball and let him get forward. You get what I'm saying? I think he definitely suit that position to play behind the striker. You get what I'm saying? Play like and plus he have the legs to get back. Back and you get what I'm saying? Because I know I see even in today's game, him give away a couple fouls, like he would definitely he gets stuck in and thing, and I know he got a yellow card, but he's a player that willing to do the everything. You get what I'm saying? Get forward, get on the score sheet, get back, tackle. You get what I'm saying? So I think that.
And he seems that you have a good engine that can run for 90 minutes.
Personally, I would think Jamaica going forward, 3-man midfield. I do not want to see this 4-4-2 going forward to playing with 2 strikers just to suit certain players.
And I think the 4-2-3-1 not going to suit us. I think with having those 3 midfielders line up across where they can play.
I think that's definitely suit the team. And then you have natural wingers like Liam Bailey. Them are great just to come in and then you just have
you know the thing as well. This is what was really happening in the midfield versus Trinidad and not so much on Nigeria, but because we were playing with a flat 3, Jairus much more naturalized on that right hand side, Casey on that left hand side. Isaac Hayden is playing in the middle. You understand? And let me just say this. When the ball is out on the right hand side, it was out there a lot of time. We seen Jonathan Russell overlap the wing backs, and the wing back, our wing back was actually coming up, and then we have our winger. So that was 3 players on the wing at times at one time for the Reggae Boyz versus Trinidad. So we overlap the wing areas, and the defenders, they confused, and that actually pulled somebody from that opponent midfield to our midfield 3 to come over and support, and it actually will drag one of those center half to come and try to cover as well. So that can create, a imbalance of a midfield or a defensive four of the opponent team, and it's easily to pull away an extra body and get that ball back into the midfield, which we did a lot against the Trinidad team. And Dwight York, he just couldn't stop that play. I didn't really see it much with Casey Palmer on that left hand side with Cephas, because Cephas is a different outlet. He just need to be out there on himself, by himself, taking on the defenders 1v1. But I've seen it happen a lot. I've seen it happen 2 times in the game today as well, with Jairus trying to overlap with the player that played in Germany, Agu. You understand? So I think moving forward, a flat tree, I think we should be going forward. I think that kind of suit the players, because if one player start to overlap, on one of the wings, then Casey Palmer can drift in as the six, and Isaac Hayden drift over a little bit more to support that as well. So I
And
see a lot of
and I
Roy.
think if we need to start build onto something, as far as I hope that Steve McCarthy take. I'm assuming that he realized that, I think this system does suit the players that I have. You get what I'm saying? And then just bringing back few local pieces that they're able to get into this tournament. But I think that we need to start making things that so this a formation that are gonna work. You get what I'm saying? So that we'll start going into the World Cup qualifiers or in the World Cup. We see that there's a pattern of the same thing. There's a chemistry building. So so the first time when the lineup come out and the first game come out, I will see our setup. We see 4-3-3. So I said, okay, there's a thing building here. There's a chemistry. There's an idea when I'm sitting at a tournament there. You get what I'm saying? Because me don't want to say we'll go in the World Cup qualifiers game and
do something different. I don't want to see it.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, he showed us continuity today that he start the same team.
Yeah, it's a whole different setup. You get what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that going forward, we can see the same ideas what happen in this game happen in those games going forward. For sure.
Yeah. We finished with that midfield three. Talk about a little bit more on the attacking players. Cephas, Burrell, and Dixon. But Dixon shows that it wasn't a fluke what happened in the first game. He showed that he can be a two-way winger, that's someone that will track back, someone that will get invert in that midfield and actually, being stuck in, tackle, do whatever it needs. And he have that afterburner as well, that he can get up as quick and get into the final third. Dixon showed in the last 2 games that going forward, if he's not going to be that starter, he will definitely be that player that needs more minutes going forward as well. He showed that he deserves, if he's going to come off the bench, he deserves like 30, 25 minutes off the bench. That the 5-minute, the 2-minute coming on in 92, 93rd minute, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. So he elevated his game a little bit and showed that, look, all the doubters that, he's not the player that he once was, probably 18 months ago. He developed way, a lot of players are fans.
Yeah.
Sees that Dixon, that he's not a starter, but he showed that he can be a starter going forward in certain games, but he's not going to be that player. And I don't want us to burn him out. He's not going to be that player that want to be that consistent starter on that right-hand side or on the left-hand side, wherever. But for some certain games, he deserved to get that start and, to do something in the game and, try to, elevate his game a little bit more, improve more and more. And I think, more he play, on an international level, it will just prove that he can get in that Charlton Athletic team. What if, Charlton Athletic coach was watching the last 2 games? He would have learned something new on Kyan Dixon.
Of course, they have to be watching.
He would have been like, if this player maybe not ready to start in Charlton team, they probably can make a quick decision that, look, this player deserves minutes and just give him that loan. You understand? Give him that loan. If he's not going to, if you cannot guarantee him, certain minutes, probably 1,500 minutes in the championship. If you can't guarantee him that amount of minutes, you understand? Then he needs to get loaned up, because the more he will get better. Your assessment on the Kaim?
think Kaim, I think we definitely always, I think our platform we always defend Kaim. You get what I'm saying? I remember people say, "Yo, what am I doing at the national team?" You get what I'm saying? This is not a school thing. You get what I'm saying? And Kaim, I've been coming from far. You get what I'm saying? He set up a goal in the first game, got a goal in the second game. You get what I'm saying? So he's coming from far. You can see the progress is there, the work is there. He's getting better, he's improving. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just have to give him the opportunity. And I want, as I said, I know you always said this. We don't want to see him coming on the game 10 minutes, 5 minutes left. We want to see at least 30 minutes, 20 minutes, even start. You get what I'm saying? And I do think that Steve McLean do like him, because start him in this tournament in both games. That tell you that he believe in him and him trust him. You get what I'm saying? And he did his best, and he's
I do think that Kyle Dixon agent should learn a lot about him as well. And I think as an agent, when you look at Kaim play through the academy and watch Kaim in these two games, it should be looking like, look, my client needs to get more minutes. And if he cannot guarantee the minutes at his current club, at least try to request a loan move to lower tier team in the English pyramid, where he actually can get minutes, where he will make mistakes, and they will still continue to play him as well. You understand? So everybody who is around Kaim, including his coaches, should learn a lot of what he did in these two games. It showed that he have everything that he can be a winger. But I just think that if Kaim can go into next season and manage to just bulk up a little bit, not much, but just a little bit, where he can have that extra upper body strength. You understand? And if he can condition his endurance, where he can play 70 minutes, on a Saturday and a Tuesday, that will be a next step up. So it's all about stages for him. And I think where he's at now, I don't think in the championship he can manage to play Saturday, Tuesday. I don't think he's physically ready. I think that will kill him. Even in the League One, I don't think he's ready to play weekend, midweek. I think if he can play, on the weekend, play little minutes and Tuesday, get him back, ready again for the weekend. I think gradually we can, stage by stage, that's where Kaim Dixon is at. He wasn't the player that was developed in some big, academy, where he was under some very good, academy coach in Jamaica. It's all about stages for him at the moment. And moving on, from Kaim, Borrell is a player that show that it doesn't matter what kind of game really I play out there, it will always be Borrell. But going forward, I think we're going to need somebody else just like Borrell, similar like Borrell. We don't, because look, the reason why I said that, you have a player like Borrell that will work his socks off. He will get tired. You understand? He will get tired in games. You understand? So you're going to need that 2.0 Borrell, that someone that can give that same exact quality going forward. He's going to press. He have speed. He have energy, and it doesn't matter if he can run behind. He's just not going to stop. He's just going to continue to run, and he's going to just continue to press the back line. And I think he was very smart. I know he pressed because he realized that Jamaica team wasn't really pressing a lot, but he pressed a little bit and then backed off. You understand? So he didn't really run himself out of the ground with energy.
What do you say that? I know you said that we definitely would have loved to get another Borrell of just the player type of who he is. Yeah. But when you say that, if hypothetically, if we're talking about the World Cup and we only have 3 spots, that's only going to be three forwards, and I'm assuming it's probably going to be Mikel Antonio and Nicholson. You get what I'm saying? And then maybe Borough is gonna be there. So it's like if we're talking about going forward and what we're trying to do, I think there are only 2 more spots left for the
Yeah.
striker role. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah. That's true. You know.
you get me?
You remember. I think what I really like about Burrell, and I said it. He's a player that Daniel like this finger here. Daniel, look what I'm doing. This finger here is the right post.
Yeah.
This finger here is the left post. Burrell is a player. Every time when something happen, he might run in between the sticks. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if him there in the center circle,
Yeah.
in the right in between the 2 goalposts. And a good coach will tell you that any striker that you see always in a round between the sticks. So they will draw that line straight down to the halfway line and penetrate in that zone. So when you always center as a striker, there's anything can happen. You can run left, you can run right, you can run central, you can come deep.
Yeah.
So you're always centered in where the two set as a center half. One of the best thing a striker could do is to play away from the center half.
Can you teach that? That's something that the striker have to develop and learn on himself to know how to press. Because I feel like if you go out there and just press, you're all over the place, and the team that's gonna pass around and then they're onto your team again. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
can is that something that you teach a player, or that's something that the player develop on him own time?
I don't know much. I wasn't really a striker. But I learned that as a midfielder that you need to dominate in the center circle. And you need to stay. Continue. Go ahead.
No, personally, because I play a striker role, and that's why I definitely should have answered that question myself. But I think that's something to have to do with a player have to learn on his own. Unless you're playing a system where tactically your coach want the whole team to press. But I think over. I know he's playing at a level where in England, where I think England. The football is very tactical now, so everything is details. You know what I'm saying? So I will assume that this is something that he learned from the team that he played in. But me personally, at the level where I was playing, I have to learn that at my own, over press teams, and you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, players can learn that under good coaching management. Just how I learned, some of the basic, as a very young age. You understand? But
yeah.
I look at Shamar Nicholson. There's time when the ball needs Shamar Nicholson in the center, and Shamar Nicholson is somewhere around the pitch. I wind up himself. You understand? So this player occupy the most dangerous position as a striker, and that's where to be is centered between the 2 goalposts. When you can make a run from anywhere in the center, midfielders will love to play with striker like that. And if you look at Sergio Aguero, he's one of the prime example as that. When he's drifting wide, he's drifting from inside between the 2 sticks. So Burrell, that is going forward. But I just think that we're going to need at least 2 strikers, because a player like that going to bring that amount of energy. He's going to have at least 60 minutes. Probably 60 minutes the most.
I do get what you're saying, because if we're gonna play like that, you're probably gonna need someone else to come off the bench to do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? I think Antonio was like that, but I don't think he physically able to do that again. I mean, we don't know what's we're gonna get, but I'm going off of his age. You get what I'm saying? But I do think Antonio is very physical. He can do anything that him own way, but I get what you're saying now. We're definitely gonna need someone to come off at the bench, come do the same thing. And I don't think Antonio and Nicholson is that. I think
we're going to need. I think going forward, we should have 3 number 9s. 3.
Yeah.
I think you're going to need 1 player like a Shamar Nicholson. Will it be Shamar Nicholson? I don't know yet. Yeah. But we're going to need that next player like Burrell and a post-up number 9 player. Just like a Nicholson, a Stuvante Stewart, somebody that's going to post up as well. Bring that big physical presence up front. You're going to need something like that. You're going to play a game somewhere down in the near future where the game just going to demand that type of physical post up striker to play alongside, whatever striker it is. You understand? But Ronaldo Cephas, Daniel, 4 goals involvement and 2 games. Two assists in both games. One two penalty. Gave 2 assists today as well. This player shows that it doesn't matter what happened. Demarai Gray is either going to play find himself to play somewhere else, or he's going to play on the bench. But let's talk about Ronaldo Cephas, because the only player in the Unity Cup that can match his performance was Chucky Wesi of Nigeria. That player, he was
Yeah.
excellent. If you watch that game, even against the Ghanaian team, they just couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
And he was one of the only probably experienced 18 player in the Nigerian team alongside Sami Ajay, in Didi.
It did it.
You understand? So Ronaldo Cephas, man, it shows that he's delivering and he's the man going forward, and he's the most dangerous player going forward for us.
Yeah, I think Cephas is definitely our most dangerous player, especially, and I like to see him. I like him on that left. I think he I just, the only criticism I can say for him, sometimes he sometimes tend to hold on to the ball along, but I definitely still think that even when Cephas man look like him having a bad game, him still produce something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, you just cannot keep him up. But I think that Demar Gray definitely, I forgot to step it up, because I would definitely go into the qualifiers starting Cephas. Like I would not feel no type of way if Cephas starting those games over Demar Gray, because let's be real, Demar Gray have not been good in the last year. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
awful. I mean, having competition, good competition is not a big problem. You get what I'm saying? Just on the right side, we have Bailey for come back in. Our dream signing, maybe Greenwood. You get what I'm saying? So you get me. So
Whoa.
it's very good to have competition. We can't complain. It's competition. You get what I'm saying, on both sides. You know what I mean? So Cephas, I would definitely start Cephas in the World Cup qualifiers over Demar Gray at this moment.
And these 2 performances from Ronaldo Cephas tell us that he cannot play 30 football in Turkey coming August. Cannot.
No,
Cannot.
I personally think he definitely put himself on the market
Yeah,
in
cannot.
England. You know?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot more to get out of Cephas. Daniel, I want to say this. I said this, but I said it solo on the platform. Ronaldo Cephas, his journey to Europe is it's way different than many players. You have to go through the trenches, in Europe. I think where he was coming from before he left Turkey, right? Ronaldo Cephas should have gone into one of those countries, Belgium one, Scandinavia, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway two. Maybe like a Holland, a country where players get developed, where they look after youngsters more. Turkey is a league where, if you look at the Turkish league and look at the history of the Turkish players, some of the most prolific young players that come out of Turkey, as soon as they get in between 18 and 22, they have to get out, else they're going to be stagnant. The Turkish league is not a league where, it's a big league in Europe. Don't get me wrong. It's a tough league. It's a very good league to play in. But when you talk about as a youngster trying to learn, I think Turkey in the top 10 of Europe best league, I think they are probably one of the worst league in Europe in the top 10, which develop the youngsters across, and it's one of the oldest league. So it's not the youngest league in Europe. So for him to move, I think it was not Macedonia Skopje, and to come to Turkey, I think that was a little bit was an edgy move. You understand? I think I want to see him more in the Belgian Pro League, the Eredivisie, somewhere in Scandinavia, where they will look after him really well. So when France, Germany, England, Italy come calling, it will be a lot easier for him to adapt. Because he was a player that was a track star. he's still raw. Him and Kaim Dixon still never really developed on how a youth should be developed coming out of Jamaica. But what led Cephas to a higher standard is space. His space is what really, let him reach that far. And he's a little bit stronger, more than Kaim Dixon. So, but when you talk about the roughness around the edge, still have, a lot more to learn from the game. They're on the same level as that. But I want to get your say on this, moving to Turkey, less development league in Europe, rather than go to, somewhere like Eredivisie, Scandinavia, Belgium Pro League, and try to learn from some of the best youth coaches in Europe. Domzel, Shaman Nekos leave that club, went to Belgium. He found himself to another level where he just started to score more goals. He started to be a little bit more prolific as a goal scorer, learning the game more. Norman Campbell leaving the Serbian, Super League, went to, Denmark. You see, at least Norman Campbell is a little bit cut above where he was on the level that he was at, previously in Serbia. So that show you that moving to development league and that real development coach where they can take care of your progress and your development, it's very vital for your career. It's not just rush into a Turkish league. Maybe the money was very good. The salary probably would have probably a lot more than what other clubs was really offering. But you have to look after your career, because if you look after your career through 2-3 years down the line, those money that them that pay for them 2 years in another club, you would get that money back. You understand? If you go to the next level. So let me know what you have to say.
No, I think I'm mute. Yeah, I think. Let's see. Not me, right? Yeah, I think that we can all look at it and think that what we think is the best for him and stuff like that. We don't know what's going on as far as financially for him, because sometimes, most of the time, people have to understand that players, the first yes, football is very important, but players are always gonna make what best for them financially. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we still have to live, we still have to pay bills. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes we might look on it very easy that way, but I think that Cephas is. I don't think Cephas is a bad player. I think I see players in the Premier League playing at a level, and they're not even that good at better than Cephas. I'm gonna go as far as Southampton, Leicester City. What's the team that? They're not that far from him. Ipswich. You get what I'm saying? I'm giving those levels. I think Cephas is definitely at that level. You get what I'm saying? I think he's right above championship level. You get what I'm saying? Just by what I see him doing consistently whenever he come and play for the Jamaican team. I think definitely he can definitely get a move, but didn't move to those things where it would have better. I think if it did move to Belgium, Netherlands, in Dutch, I think would have definitely help him better him ability as far as technical ability to able to look up more and pass off the ball. You get what I'm saying? I feel like when he went to Turkey, we don't know of Turkey of any league, a league that develop players in that capability. I think players that came from Turkey, they just born with gifted, just very gifted. They get technical ability.
And then get shipped out real early.
And then just like Ugard. What's his name?
Keeper. The keeper.
No,
Gula Yildiz from Juventus, the keeper for United. Çalhanoğlu left Turkey at a very young age as well. Arda Turan, and these players left Turkey
because they view the young players as assets. You get what I'm saying? I don't think they care about development players, because if you look at the national team, there's a lot of old players. Çalhanoğlu, still around the player. That's what I'm saying. So I just feel like we don't. What's the problem, boy? You want to say something? You want to say something to people, then? What's the problem? Huh? But I just feel like Turkey is never going to develop players. You get what I'm saying? And I think maybe we don't know what's the details behind Cephas contract. I feel like most of the time we Jamaican people might look and say, yo, when go there so far? You get what I'm saying? But we have to be very honest and say, yo, maybe that's where the money is, and maybe that's where the pathway for him to play first team football, because going to a tougher league and a very technical league, he might never would have to been playing. You know
Daniel, I guarantee you this.
Jim, go in your room.
I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this: Norman Campbell isn't a better player, than Ronald Cephas, but he managed to get game time in a football club in Denmark, one of probably in the top six best team in the Danish league. You understand? So, it come down to, it come down to what offer is on the table. It come down to, the management of his career, his agent, who is behind him. It comes down to a lot of different things. You understand? But mainly it comes down to the offers, what was on the table at the time. You understand? So, but I'm just saying though, maybe if it was a different pathway for him, not go to Turkey than probably more development league, probably would have been a lot more better, because those coaches prioritize, in youth development, and they can look at him and know exactly what was missing, what's a missing piece for him to, so they can actually get an extra 10 million on that transfer moving forward. Do you understand? So I think, with him, deserve to move out of the Turkish league. Then I don't want him to go up in the Turkish Super League
Yeah.
if there's an offer from like a Fenerbahce, Bashitas, I don't want him go in one of those clubs. He needs to get out.
Yeah,
Too
I
much
think
financial problem in a Turkish league.
yeah, I
And
think
politics.
yeah, I think Turkish league have definitely declined over the years. When last a team from Turkey really win a European trophy, you get what I'm saying? So you could see the decline of the football went down. You get what I'm saying? But I just think that sometimes players' pathways is just different. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I just hope that this tournament able to put him on the market for a good suitor. You get what I'm saying? And hopefully in the in the I'm not gonna go far as the Premier League,
Championship.
the Championship. Just a level underneath the Premier League. I think I personally think if Sifa's go to the champion, he rip it up, because I think the football, the Championship play very
Yeah.
physical, fast. I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
suit him. I
And
think
his body can cope with that now if he's
yes,
a fit player.
yes, yeah. I think he definitely.
And I
You know,
think to be honest, I would love to see him in a mid-table Bundesliga team.
yeah. I think definitely German football does suit him too. I think they play a very
Expansive
backhand
football. Yeah.
expansive football. You get what I'm saying? So I definitely think those type of football does suit him. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. But want to talk on his role going forward, for the Reggae Boys team. Cephas isn't the player, Daniel, that going to give us like 8 goals after calendar year, and for his international team. He's a player that will create impact. And if if um Steve McLaren can sketch a plan of what's best for Cephas going to a game by game, not just looking at Gold Cup when we have BVI, and also and looking at Guatemala. You understand? But look at what's ahead. You need a plan for him, and set that plan, that where can he impact the most on the football pitch, which position, which one of the fullbacks of either side are the weakest, how you can hit them, in their weakest position, what they lack. You understand? And bring that and compare it with Cephas of how he can create something. Because when you talk about create, if Cephas can create 3 opportunities for us in each game that he played, at least one of them more likely will get a goal. So if he can create a goal every game, or create 3 opportunities to give someone, you understand, and that player can get the ball in the back of the net, or create that little one big dribble, something, anything to create a goal. So I think that will be, his role, I think, for me going forward, until he can step it up and start to get his goal, because it's sooner or later that Cephas will want to start to score goals.
No, I was gonna say that I don't know if he what happened? Oh no, moves him so far. That boy give me be a trouble.
You know, Bless up Andy, but D-Man Cooley said Norman Campbell is a more complete winger than Cephas. Is a player that's so slept, and what does that NC mean? Is a dangerous winger. Look, I highly rate Norman Campbell, and even sometime in the week, me I tell Daniel say, yo, Norman Campbell is a dangerous prospect. Yeah, him and Cephas going forward should be our future winger. Like, not, I don't even think Dixon is a winger. I just think Dixon is just a real, just an overall complete player. Like, you can just put him anywhere and you get, seven, between 7 and a 10 out of 10. You understand? But I just think that Norman Campbell and Ronaldo Cephas are two of our most prolific wingers that in the future they can be starters for the Reggae Boys team. And Norman Campbell have come a far, far, far way. And just to see how he's been performing, just to see how he got minutes, whenever he get his time on the pitch for Randers FC in the Danish league, he do something. He just leave you with a question mark like, what next you're going to get? You understand? So he's a player that his performance is in Scandinavia has picked up to a notch, and his gameplay and his model and how he wants to play the football, it was way different than when he was in Serbia. You understand? So it transfer moving to a different club. It can be one of the most trickiest thing that can happen in a player career, where you can make one move and it's the end of your career, when you can make that other move and it is the best thing that ever happened in your career, where you just go on to start to make millions. So I've always have the confidence in Ronaldo Cephas that even though his end product isn't good, but it's because I don't know. Sometimes when you used to be out there on the football pitch as a player, sometimes you can get that that different perspective on the game, and you see what players go through, in different motions, different scenarios on the pitch. And I've always have the confidence that Ronaldo Cephas, it doesn't matter what happened. Yeah, his end product never troubled me before, because I see the future and I see what that player can do. Cephas is a player that is a risky winger, just like a risky number 10, like Bruno Fernandes, not the best of pleasing with the highs. He will lose the football because he's a risk taker. But Ronaldo Cephas is a risk winner, where he will just try to do something with the football. So his end product never really fazed me, because I
Yeah.
know in the near future, once he starts to get it right and on that rhythm, it will eventually come overnight, because he's not a bad player.
Yeah, very direct play. I don't think I like him as a winger.
Mhm.
He just get to it. Just get to the point. You get what I'm saying? So I think he's just one of those players that, as a coach, you love to have him in a team, because I think Demar Gray and Liam Bailey, different type of wingers.
Too much touches they want to
You know.
take on the
Yeah,
football.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Slow down the
Just
game.
get to the point.
Let's get to the point. You know what I'm saying? I just think that once Cephas can polish up in game, as far as better decision, when to hold on to the ball, you get me? Because I think that whenever he choose to put the ball in the back and put the ball in the box, we always score from it. You get what I'm saying? The two opportunities that they set up in this tournament, you see that. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like people does get frustrated with him, because he just tend to dribble with the ball too long. You get what I'm saying? But people now really see the benefits of what it does. You get
Yeah,
me?
bro. Let me tell you. Sometimes it good to when you be in around the football, and yeah, was an ex-player, because you see certain things on the football pitch, it's not going to phase you. And I can see that with a lot of players, that it just take one move and he get back his form. And I was telling someone this when Boza was going through that turmoil at in Russia, Moscow, Spartak Moscow. It only takes him one move to get back on his feet. And that move, he got that loan move to the French Liga, and then he started to score goals in the Nations League. And it comes back again to another player like Cephas. It just take that one little chance. Just trust him. How much time, Daniel, you seen Cephas start back-to-back games for the national team and played such long minutes in game. You don't really see that. So moving forward, you see that Steve McCurran have the trust. And with Demary Gray, who is not on the best of form, with the stats, but he's coming to him own now, in terms of when you look what he's doing outside of not scoring and getting any assists. He's a better player compared in the first half of the Saudi Pro League under Steven Gerrard. So it's all about the continuity and the trust of Ronaldo Cephas, of the coach. You have to trust him. Yeah,
What
you
am I
have to.
saying?
Oh,
think,
hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in the comments talking about Norman Campbell. You know, it seems like they're a big fan of him. But I think that Cephas is definitely up another level to go. You know,
Yeah,
I remember I used to watch few games of him when he was at Arnett Garden, and I think that he was always a player that was very exciting. You know, put you up on your feet. But I think that a move for him is gonna
yeah.
be vital for his career going forward,
Yes,
because
yeah,
I
he's going
feel
to need the next move is critical right now.
very critical, very critical. But like I can see that he have another level to go with as far as his decision making. Once he can
And,
get a
and
coach,
and then when you get that, it's another level again where you're going to get goals.
yes. Because I feel like a good coach can definitely able to get him to that point where he can start producing to a level where it's very consistent, and you get what I'm saying. And you all, as a player, you only get better. You get what I'm saying. And I think he's getting to that stage where he's gonna get to his prime and
Yeah.
able to produce for Jamaica. But me personally, I start him in the going forward. Him and my starting man, because the last couple of games the other rest of man them, me not see what them I do. You see me? I say so. I would definitely keep Cephas in the team.
Yeah, but what me have to say is, I want to talk about the gaffer a little bit. I want to talk about the gaffer and his game management in this tournament. With these two games that just passed the other day, and I don't really like the game management of Steve McLaren. I don't know if because he was watching the game from the bench, and today I don't know if he saw it. There was a lot of confusions like between Trevor Simpson and Meran Garden and Steve McLaren, because Steve McLaren was up in the stand. And look, if Steve McLaren I got the in at the stands, my God, have a connection with a microphone, something. If you're going to do that, get something where the coach can sit and speak to Trevor Sinclair, whoever needs to get the word so on the training and the train on the pitch inside the dugout, so stuff can go a lot more quicker. It's modern time. So them are gonna make Steve McCurran trip up one of them stairs and going up one of them time, yeah. Trust me. Nah, but I didn't really like his game management. I think in the game that we played earlier today, I think a sub would have did us really good in the first 55, 60 minutes. I think it was we needed that midfield change. We need that different dynamic of a player in that midfield once it hit like the 50, 55 mark, because going into the first half, you would have probably talked to the midfield tree like how we can get on the football more, how we can be a little bit more dominant, how we can get in charge of the game and start to control and create, because we have created opportunities after opportunities in the Trinidad game. We create opportunities slightly little bit way after the Trinidad game, but it didn't work out in the first 10 minutes. Change something. You need that little bit of sparks in that second half. And I think, was it going to be a Ravel Morrison or whoever could have bring that different Brandon Cover? I don't know, man, but somebody else could at least bring something, a little bit of energy in that midfield. So I think moving forward, substitutions is a little bit key. I think Steve McCurry need to work on that. And I think the who is the best man that going to make the talking from the dugout to the players? Who's going to do that when he's in the stands? Because I see a lot. I don't know if it's side, but I see a lot of confusion when he comes down. He's like, "Yo, like, me don't know what was it, bro," and it
Well,
just didn't look good.
I think you can just put it as communication, definitely. But that's very poor. If that's really, if it's really just only down to communication and cannot able to get out the information, that's poor. You get what I'm saying? And we can't allow that. I know him try to stay up and stand and see the game from a good point of view. But yeah, if you're going to do that, you have to have good communication with the people and when they're on the sideline. They get what I'm saying? And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want my coach to be on the sideline.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a friendly game. I don't care if it's not the World Cup. I need my coach to be on the sideline. You get what I'm saying? Sending out the information. You get what I'm saying?
Never
So
look good.
I think
Never
I
look good.
think I think that's
Never look good.
it not look good. You get me? This I'm gonna sit up and stand and make other man do him job. Bro, you're getting you are the coach. You're getting paid to be down there, to be on the sideline. You get what I'm saying? So me not get this, what am I do? But we can't afford this going into the World Cup qualifiers, no confusion. You get what I'm saying? So we have to do
Yeah,
better one,
it,
isn't it?
it just never looked good of him going back and forth in the stands. It just never looked good.
So
You
if
understand?
I go back and forth next time, why not stay up on the sideline?
You know, if that is a problem going forward for him, not manage to assess the game in the dugout. This man have 3 decades of coaching experience under his belt. Are you telling me that he still needs to go up in the stand like an amateur? But let me just say this. If so be the case, let the administrations know that you're going to need an extra camera as a review footage. You're going to need an extra camera for extra footage. Place a camera up in the stand, a 360 camera, where when you pull up that camera on a big screen TV, you actually see the 22 players that's on the pitch. You see the entire pitch. And then from there, you can assess the game as a review footage, going forward. If so be the case, he needs to do that. But it just never looked good. And he did something where when we took Burrell off, this is why I said we need a next striker. When he took Burrell off in the Trinidad game, we kind of lose a little bit in that no man and position. And then he took Dexter Lembe Kisa off today, and he brought on the Mount Pleasant player, Mings. He just couldn't match up or keep up to the standard of where the game was. So substitutions is a massive, massive part of winning a football game. Is that sometime in our game, it's going to be you just have to just leave the level players out there to win the game. And then another time, it's going to just need 2-3 substitutions to start off the second half. So I just think when he pulled off a few players, in the last 2 games, in certain position like Borrell and then Dexter. I don't know what was the reason for Dexter, and then brought on Mings and the Atkinson one. For a player that came off the pitch in the JPL final that was very wind, you have to rush him off the field to get him oxygen. Then you have to flew, a week and a half after, 7 hours flight to England, and then I don't know if it was the right decision for him to play and leave or not play and just leave him home, to just to recover back himself. So there's a lot of thought process and everything, and going forward, it's getting better, but we're going to need to improve as we're going on, and it's going to improve very quickly. But your thoughts though on Steve McLaren, on game management of getting certain substitutions wrong with certain personnel.
I mean, going forward, I don't care if we have a camera over in the sky. Him need to be on the sideline, send out information, send out instruction, that guiding the team, because we cannot are able to have any mistake and any confusion. You get what I'm saying? These games we can do these things in these games, in friendlies and these type of games, but in real competitive games, that's gonna cost us a World Cup spot. Gonna cost us a Go Cup semi-final, a quarter-final. We cannot are able to have, confusion, able to send out the instruction, because that's what Jamaica is paying him for, to be on the sideline, to be the coach. You get what I'm saying? But Atkinson, I think, should never be, if we went through all of that and we do all of that just to rush him into the team, should never been in the squad. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not gonna say he was the fault that we lost today because
No, he's not the fault. He's definitely not the fault. Yeah.
he missed the penalty. I
Yeah.
just think that if we have to do all of that for him to just to be in the team, give someone else his spot. You get what I'm saying? Because he came on, he never really get into the game, never really do anything. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
give someone else a spot. We have to do all of that just to get him on the team. A joke thing, isn't it? I say
Yeah,
so.
it's like rush, and
Yeah.
he's young. That's one of the last thing you want to rush a young player. And then what if he went on the pitch and got a very bad challenge, somewhere in the upper body, and it just keep him win, and go back to that same scenario that happened in the JPL final. You understand? But before we go into that, I want to get into a few comments. Someone said, Doc Sports TV said, I watched Norman in training with the Reggae Boys. The kid is a live wire who can run all day, skillful and deceptive. But look, I know all of that, and he's an ex-player that the World Cup qualifying squad. It's going to be difficult to pick in a Daniel, and Norman Campbell need to be in that squad.
So why was he in this setup?
No, he's still in season.
He's still in season.
He
Okay.
has he have a very important game tomorrow against one of the team that came in as a runner-up in the Danish Cup. That it's a conference league playoff where any team win goes into the second round of the conference league. So you have a very important game tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow though. Yeah, it should be tomorrow. Then it's international break after, but I think he's a very good player. This is a controversial one, that one. Luke Jr. is the answer for the right wing and Cephas on the left for the Reggae Boys. You do not tell us say man blacklist them now pick him because I mean the Suriname game. Man say the first one to come out and big up Eddie for that interview there because Junior Flemings come out and spill the beans. Yeah, me not like they put on Atkins. Man, my burnout speed. It's
The
like
speed.
speed tell him to put on Atkins.
Yes, I speed around this. I speed around this the chat. I send out information.
I don't even know, man.
Mm.
The coach must be on the bench, not in the stands. I totally
Correct.
agree. Cephas needs to go to Alanhar, France. Yes, he definitely needs to be somewhere.
I would definitely like him. I would like him in the French
The
league.
French league. Yeah.
Yeah, I think French. I think the French league. People been banter the French league over the last couple of years, saying it's the Farmers League, and look what it's done. It's have one couple more it have some of the best young players right now playing in the French league. So I think Cephas, I would have definitely like to see him in France.
The thing is, Alvas Powell. I used to love Alvas Powell as a right back for the national team, but let me just say, I think the wing back position have gone up to another notch where it's need that modern type of fullback where you can do. I don't know if Alvas still have that energy of that that V12 engine where you just can go up and down as probably what he used to did 5-7 years ago when Alvas was in early 2000 early 20s, I must say. But I don't know, but if he get picked, I'm not going to say he shouldn't be amongst. But I mean, it's just one of them that Alvas might be. But I want my fullbacks now to be a lot more modern than two-way players, someone that good on the ball, someone that can get crosses into the box. And Dexter is not a bad player, but he's gonna need that backup. And I mean, if Alvas is that player, a very seasonal campaigner in the CONCACAF region, if he can help him along the way in terms of his experience of going to different countries and stuff like that, maybe but at the same time I think we probably can, if another quality player and give Dexter that push right to the end, I think we're going to need that as well. I'm fine with the coach assessing the players from a different view perspective in a friendly game. Okay,
I am fine with that, Lee Young. I'm fine with that, But if you're gonna have, there should be no confusion. You get what I'm saying? If you can stay up in the stands and look at the game on a different point of view. But when you're able to get down, when the information that as a coach, when you want to get down to the sideline, there should be no confusion.
Yes, that should be a lot more smoother.
Yes, yes, you know what I'm saying? So if there's gonna be confusion, just by you up in the stands, you need to dip on the sideline. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, his techniques was bad. That's why he missed. What was that though? What was that?
What?
I don't know. I don't know. Patrick Riley. Who is that? I don't. I
I
don't.
think
That was.
Jamaica did great, and this performance has made players who is on the fence to start
I was.
think
I was
different.
talking about this one. I'm
Oh, I'm
sorry. Is that?
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who my talk about.
Yeah. I don't.
Patrick
Oh,
Riley.
I think it was the penalty. I think. Oh, the Dwayne Atkins penalty. Someone said.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Dwayne Atkins is one of the better set piece taker in the JPL, so it's just one of them things. It's just a lottery, man. He missed, and we just have to bypass it, and hopefully, the experienced lads in the dressing room can really, get him to get over
Fabian
that as
Brown
quick
in
as
this
possible. You understand? The penalty, Christopher injured for Cavaliers for right back. No, Chris is a left footer. I think Robina Garden for Veer and Craig Butler is a player that you have a lot of energy, can play many different positions. I think he's a player that if he goes overseas to a club, I think he's currently in Belgium at this moment and a trial Robina Garden for Genk. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he can get over the line and start to play for Genk because he's one of the better players with Christopher Ainsworth in the wing back. Someone said one time that we have a Cafu and we have a Roberto Carlos, and those players are Christopher Ainsworth and Robina Garden that are two wing backs that can serve us for the next 10 to 15 years going forward. So it's all about if Speed can get Ainsworth out and Craig Butler already have him in a Genk with under trials, then I think if he can get over the line, then it will be very good for us. You understand? But yes, Robinho Garden needs to get some minutes. I think he will be as such. But would you want to have Dexter as as the experienced player? Because Robinho, I think, is 19. You don't want to have two young right backs. So you don't want to have maybe again
I
with the older
person
guards. This is why Damian Lowe is important to the squad as well.
I personally these days I don't even watch EH these days. I don't even watch EH. The problem is we saw tune into experience. You get what I'm saying? Look at football, where football is going right now. I be a teenager, I take over the game. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like if the player is good enough to play, doesn't matter his age, give him the time to play in the team. Because I feel like we Jamaica, we have got on that path of experience, and it bring us so far. You get what I'm saying? So if the player is doing a good job, put him in the team. You get what I'm saying? Because the experienced players has let us down over the past couple of years. You
Yeah,
get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
The man them that I think that should be doing the better job have let us down. So I don't think if he's 19, 20, 17, play them. You get what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think that the fullback position, I think we do need something more exciting because football have involved. I feel like wing backs, fullbacks have become very vital to all teams play. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying? So I feel like if Jamaica can somehow find some fullbacks, otherwise and Lexa, I think he do a good job. But I feel like attacking wise, going forward, we need to start find some fullbacks that can get forward, get back. And don't get me wrong, the players that we already have, they can develop to get into that thing. But I
Yeah,
feel like we lack some fullbacks and can get them and
yeah.
put some ball in the
I'm going
box.
to I'm going to say this. We have some youngsters that we're recruiting now, and some youngsters that few youngsters, not a lot, but a few youngsters in Jamaica as well playing in the JPL.
Yeah.
They can be that next player in the whatever position, just like a Robino and a Christopher Ainsworth. They can be the next two wing backs that can serve us for the next decade. You have Whisper just left Jamaica. You have Kaim Dixon. You still have King down there. Um, can't think of much right now, but you'd have probably one and two alike one of the wing back again that's coming through at Cavalier right back. I think it's McClearly, but he's a far away of
Yeah.
getting to the Christopher injured, quality as a young player like that. But we have some decent players, not world beaters, but we have some decent young players around somewhere in the academies and in the JPL at this moment, local in Jamaica. That if these players can get the right move anytime now and can get into a very good league where they can, try to get coached and go to that next level, then they can actually add a lot of depth and a lot of quality, in terms of picking a player pool, going forward with the Reggae Boys. And somebody said, Dark Sports TV said Amar Bell has lost a few steps, and I have said this, still a good player, but I think he lost a few of his pace. When a player get back to back muscle injury, in his leg, and then he's not playing as a wing back anymore. He been playing as that left center half in that back three for Luton Town majority of last season. So I've seen him in the championship, and I saw like, yo, this player lost a few steps in his game that he's not that quick.
I
He wasn't
think
really, yeah, go ahead.
I think it's time for him to play center back.
Oh,
You get me? I think it's time because as I was just explaining, I need my fullbacks to go up and down. I just don't get that from Amar Bell. I think Amar Bell is solid defensively, but as what we want, because if we're gonna be playing a 4-3-3, we're definitely gonna our wingers gonna
yeah,
need supports from our wing backs. I used
yeah.
to play wing back, you know me. He's a boom
I
forward. Is
I
it like
was,
Danny Alves? You know me I
yeah,
say?
yeah,
So Amrabat, he definitely lose some step from the last 2 years when he was in the EPL. He
yeah,
was really good, and then since they got relegated and they going down and down, he definitely lost some foot. I would have definitely have him in the center back, very experienced. Was the captain. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? So I don't see anything wrong for having him in the defense.
yeah,
I want to answer that. I want to answer that comment from Rickard Richards. Rickard Richards, I'm not saying I understand. I understand what you're saying that as far as the EPL, Serie A, etc., La Liga, you can just throw the 19-year-old in the team. And the Jamaica Premier League is not up to those standard of league. You get what I'm saying? I don't. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that if there's a pathway for this player is to come amongst the national team, especially these type of tournaments in the Unity Cup, you have to give them the opportunities so they can show them talent and show what they are capable of. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying to just throw him in a World Cup qualifiers against top teams in the Conca Cup. You get what I'm saying? I think these are the opportunity where these players you can get them, bring them on the team. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying to just throw him in those big leagues. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, you only are able to know the player unless you give him the opportunity. And when is that opportunity gonna be? We're only gonna wait until these players move to abroad or get selected from a team from abroad. So you get what I'm saying? So we have to take risks sometimes. Have to
yeah.
take risks.
You're
You
not
get
going
me?
to find the Doja and Whisper Richards that someone that come out of Manning Cup to go straight into national team to and
Yeah,
start. Is I understand. Whisper is just a different type of kid. Until we really find that kid, then if he's good enough as a JPL youngster and he
yeah,
can get into the team as a
yeah,
starter at times, I have no issue with that. But at this moment, I don't think we have anyone near the standard of where Dojan was at the moment when he was playing. Look, Dojan was developed under a very good regime at Phoenix. Like or not like Craig Butler. He was very developed under Craig Butler. Developed to play at that next level. That's the one thing you have to give Butler, that development of the players, of their strength. Wherever their weaknesses, in find it real quick and develop them. Um, Keon Spencer, agree. Fullbacks need to overlap and create chances. We have not replaced Baby and Greenwood won't be coming. Bertha, what is that?
Bertha, what kind of negative energy are coming on us with Bertha? Go somewhere else with that Bertha.
Warner Brown should go. Yeah, I think Warner Brown deserved that move. I think over the last, I think throughout the playoffs, I think injury kind of derailed Warner Brown a little bit. But hopefully, Steve McLaren don't really just bypass him and throw him under the bus and forget about him. But Warner definitely need to be out of the JPL coming this transfer window. Daniel, this one is for you. What you think?
I could care less. Him could have did it, not did it. I could care less. Where man to? I think Hutchison have dropped the ball. You know, I don't think he will rate us. You get what I'm saying? Ivan Tony even choose England and still the system did it. You get what I'm saying? But I just think Hutchinson don't rate Jamaica. He don't rate Jamaica, and you know I don't want to hear nothing about Hutchinson. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to hear no. He came. He used us for a platform, and then just gone. You get me? You get me? This a man that rather play under 21 football than represent Jamaica national team. That alone. And him not get nowhere in your England team. Cause watch it, Ipswich gone down. So I just don't see how he gonna get back in the England team. You see me I say? So him they're way behind the picking order, behind Madueke, Saka. I just don't see it.
Yeah, he's way behind. I want to talk and touch on this. Is it time change of the guard in the national team where Leon Bailey I feel look over him shoulder now? Damian Lowe I feel look over him shoulder now. Shaman Nicholson I feel look over him shoulder now. Bobby Reed I feel look over him shoulder now. Cause start with Bobby Reed. When Bobby Reed play as a midfielder for us, he didn't really give us much other than work hard, cover the spaces for his teammate, win back the ball, press. But we need more than that. You have to be a three-way player, four-way player as a midfielder. The game has evolved right now where as a midfielder you have to can pass, you have to can assist. Our passes come and create assists and all of that. You have to can defend, you have to can score goals. You understand? And you have to
Yeah.
can run in spaces and all of that. And I think as a midfielder, you have to do at least 3, 4 stuff as a midfielder to be in an elite team, especially an elite manager like Pep Guardiola. So John Russell definitely gave us that different dynamic and different quality at goal. And any midfielder that cannot go to any team, yeah, it will always be dangerous for the opposition team. So that's why I'm saying John Russell gave us and elevate that Bobby Reed previous role that he once used to play for the Reggae Boys. No Bobby Reed coming back should not be a guaranteed starter going forward. So it's time to change up the guard with a lot of players, Daniel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think no for the man them that in yard for say a threat. You see me I say, especially the man them where not do nothing this season. You see me I say? So I think we the fans them, I think the fans them not gonna have a patience with players coming back and doing nonsense. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? If that's anything that we know for sure. Because I see
yeah,
a lot of fans saying that we really look good as a team. You get what I'm saying? So if the man them were been dropping the ball over the last years and come back and do foolishness, them space gonna get take away. You get what I'm saying? So that should be able to motivate the players them that's not there to come in and play and perform. You see me? I say I don't know what is these players should take this.
yeah,
This should take it that Dano Star work up there on the corner, my place is in trouble. So I need, when I come back to Jamaica, I need to perform. You get what I say? Because you have the fans, I'm gonna say, take off Bailey and put on this man, put on Dixon. Why the coach not play Dixon? Dixon should have played. But then you would have never hear that. I feel like no, you're gonna hear fans that say, this man should have played, and this man have to play for sure, because we'll see what this team can do in this local tournament. You get what I'm saying? So I think enough of these players that when they come back, they're gonna under a lot of pressure to perform. And if they don't perform, their spot gonna be taken. It's just like what me I say, when them are coming at the team, me they like them are like what I do. No, I think CFAS should be the one that's starting on that left. You see what
yeah,
I say? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I think it's close. I think it's very close of changing of the guards, for this national team because If these players can keep it up, that mean what those players were doing at that time. You understand? And for Leon Bailey, if it's time for him to look over his shoulder, not fully as yet, I
What?
think I think I think
Can't talk.
maybe because of the level and what he can do. But what I can say is Bailey might be a little bit in trouble of not being in the team consistently than previous times. Why I said that Bailey haven't given us anywhere name good when he's playing for the national team. He gave us more bad performances, way overwhelmed what he did really good for the Reggae Boys team. So I think with that put consideration that he can be on the bench at times, but if I say change of guards for Leon Bailey fully, I don't see it yet 100%, but he can be benched in certain games. I don't know if you have something that I know you're going to
That's
deviate on that.
that's our hits. Oh yeah, that about Bailey. What kind of performance? Since Bailey been playing for Jamaica, you really think that Bailey have been doing more impressive? No, he is not. You get me? I think you're counting what he's doing at Aston Villa and comparing what he's doing here. You get what I'm saying? You have to. Keneal, go in your room. Go in your room. Stay in your room. Yeah, sorry about that. I think Bailey have not performed any level of what he did at Aston Villa at Jamaica. You get what I'm saying? He have been very average. You get me? So if you're saying that what Dixon them is doing can't take Bailey out, I think no man, you now watch the game there, man. You see me? He's just not up to the level. And look what happened to Bailey this season. He fall off. You get me? But if anything, I want Bailey to be motivated to come back and prove it to the way that he's still a top player. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I just think that because you have played for entire of his career, at the highest level. I think that kind of still reward him, a spot in the national team. But I just think that it's time now, for us to start look at other players that can give us something different. No, it's going to be the time where he's not a guarantee starter on a consistent basis in the national team. We should be looking at other players that will give us that different style of play that will just give us the team or improve on the team. Bailey is still a very good player, you understand, but he still needs to improve a lot for the national team. You understand? Um, Kevin Cohen needs to get Warner Brown and Busy out of Jamaica this summer. I look, Kevin as a agent, man, he needs to get that because, and not just Warner Brown and Matt Kingston. He needs to get Ronald Cephas to another club as well. You understand? Dixon has put on a yard of pace. Michael Garden, is this Meran Garden brother? But bless up yourself, Mr. Garden himself. Bill has never given us anything in the national colors. He needs to be bench and watch game and come on again. I see Bill can bench, a few games. You understand, especially if he continue to perform very poor. Until him really, if he not match up to that, then he might find himself as a change of guard and someone that who have the drive, the commitment to play in the national colors and can improve. Bro, Bailey was the only person carrying us before Gray. What? And when Gray added to the team, help it. What? Hold on, hold on. In the palm mute. Hold on. Where you say?
No, we really carry God. That's not it. You sound like yes. I wonder if a king maybe. That's not it. What you talking about? What kind of carry carry God? What Bailey carry God? Bailey not doing for Jamaica, dog. As far as on the field, you see me? Why much of the people criticize Bailey? It's because he's not performing for Jamaica. He did perform
Bailey
for.
carry Jamaica?
He carried nowhere.
No,
The
man.
last Bailey carry Jamaica know that. Is a secret Liam Bailey underneath the post. US final, which final that?
final Bailey at? Which
Which
final Bailey?
final? Which final Bailey room go? Which final that? Bailey,
Dancer, it's just let me know if you want the opportunity to come and let the
um,
people hear your voice and give your takes because we not understand. Let me know if you want the privilege so the people them can hear your voice and come talk what you really are say.
answer. Me don't know which
No,
final.
me
Like,
no,
which
and
final?
me don't know where which USA final. USA finals. What the hell, Bailey? When did Bailey perform for the national team?
I don't. The last.
Bailey has never played a Gold Cup final before.
No, he is never. Nations League, no. World Cup, no. Which final?
Which final? Bailey was suspended when we played US in the semi-final.
Never play.
Bailey has never played a final for the Reggae Boys.
Yeah, when we make it recharge right, when we make it back to back, Bailey never in the team them
Bailey
time.
are 15 under Schaefer and 17 under Tapper.
Bailey never in the team them time.
No, I'm like McCleary and McInnes for play 2017. And you have I think Rudolph Fasty them there play have Hector them a play on a Monday.
Yeah. Never did that.
No, man.
Me remember
No, this one is strange. Bailey, bro, Bailey was the only person carrying us before Gray. And when Gray add to the team, help him and Bailey out the team, what happened? Gray fall off, bro. Me play football and just talk it. But we not discredit if you used to play football or not. What we are trying to say is this now matchup where you say Bailey carry the Reggae Boys team before Damari Gray.
Be a nonsense you thought dancehall it. Go on, sir. Stick to dancehall music. Be a nonsense you thought.
Someone said
Stick to dancehall hits.
Bailey has never carried Jamaica. Gray came in the squad and took pressure off him, and he too has to falter. Bailey has yet to shine in anyway for Jamaica. Damar Gray, I think that year when he came in, he had like 11 goals in 11 goals.
Damar Gray, he was a fresh he was performing. I don't know. I think what happened with Damar Gray is one of those players where him come in so fresh, so good, and then just get the virus after Jamaica national team. You get what I'm saying? Just him level just went down, and then after field issues. You know what I said? So yeah. Gray falling off never had nothing to do with Bailey. That never had nothing to do with Bailey. I just think that Gray club level football was the reason why I'm affected in the Jamaica team. It's not because of anything.
Yeah, you just got that bad injury. You understand? Bro, this kind of just shake up my heads like meds like, yo, where the boss come from with that. But running to Richard King needs to leave the JPL like tomorrow. I think look, if Richard King goes back to Jamaica and played in the Jamaican Premier League, I don't know, man. I think I'm kind of going to give up on him. You understand? Exactly, brothers. We don't need to rewrite history. Bailey has been poor to average for Jamaica. Big baller. But he does not perform for Jamaica. Dance solid. One day if you run around corner and listen, some dancehall it and I drink some rare Navy white overproof rum. Me no know which part you there run around corner I smoke one look ziggy or I smoke one look big head with a look special. Me no know which part him there.
But then again, you really need to understand that you Bailey have these type of fans where them so locked into when him do Aston Villa and when them it's like not when him do a Jamaican account. Once him do go at the Aston Villa. And you cannot look at the football like that. You get what I'm saying? We need to talk about what he do for his country. We are always support him when he play for Aston Villa, but when he come at Jamaica, what do you do for Jamaica? You see what I say? So I think people are so blindsided of what he's doing at Aston Villa, the way he's playing, the level of what the money he's making. Because I always hear people bring up the money he's making and blah blah blah. You see me I say? We need to start to understand that what is he doing for his country, Jamaica, in performance and the field. You see what I say? So people need to
Daniel,
look at that.
may I tell you the truth? Coming in at the World Cup qualifier, we have 5 games we're sure of. The 2 World Cup qualifier game and the 3 group stage games in the Gold Cup. Then what happened after the in the knockout round? If me I give Bailey them 5 games, if him me I them 5 games that me I give him, you see going into you see if him can't perform that you see if Bailey can't perform in the 2 World Cup qualifiers, especially the vital one at home versus Guatemala, if him can't perform in that and can't perform good in the Gold Cup we're going to play Guadeloupe,
Yeah.
Panama, and Guatemala, going forward, Bailey should not be in. Hold on, the people. Bailey should not be in the knockout round. If we go to the knockout round in the Gold Cup, if him cannot change his attitude of play, I think we should go forward and move on with him from not including him in the starting 11 in the knockout round, because I'm getting to reach that point where he just cannot continue to be that bad for the Reggae Boys. And someone said, like, right now, Richard King and several other have outperformed Bailey, Dixon, and if him can say as Boza have been far better. Boza have 2 stints where he performed really well for the national team. And if him can say Boza and Dixon have been far better than, I mean, I don't know, man. But you was going to say something a while ago? Daniel,
No, you spot on. You spot on. I think no for them money what them free paper bun. You see me I say so them need to perform, and going into the World Cup, I think that the World Cup should be something that we should prioritize, try to win. I feel like Jamaica, man, I wish we won that game today. Just a feeling of winning. You see me I say? So we need to start winning something, and as I said, if Bailey is just not performing to the level that he normally did, he should not be. He should be not starting. No man, people. You have people tell me say Liam Bailey have something in a film contract with Jamaica, same have to play. That is nonsense. You see me I say? So Bailey should not be. No man should guarantee for start for Jamaica if they're not performing. Nobody not bigger than the program. You get me I say? So I think that I am very much confident of playing Dixon, Cephas in the team. Demargre come back, him doing thing. Bailey come back. All I'm saying is, if Bailey should see what's going on in his career at the moment, he's outsider of Aston Villa. If these things that motivate him to perform, work hard, not training, it's summertime now, you're off. If these not gonna motivate you to perform, I don't know what else to say, man.
Naldo 6 say Maggie would have been a good addition to the Nations League squad with his talent, and he would have gotten a lot of exposure from the Nations League experience. Maggie did play in the October
World Cup qualifier.
and no, he did play in the October window of the Nations League and the US window where we played in November.
Yeah.
So he got those 4 games that he just didn't do what he needs to do for the national team. He got more ring.
And Maggie jacked the ball.
Yeah, he jacked the ball.
Him gonna him there make man 10 for God JPL, and team got relegated, and I don't know what's gonna happen to him. I'm definitely looking forward to see what happened for him this summer, but I think Maggie really messed up him in Jamaica spot. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know what's gonna happen to Maggie.
Richard King is a top-rated defender, the best defender Jamaica's right along with Oldgate. Pinnock is there. We have a look at decent, a squad of defenders going forward. But I don't want they drop the ball and not pick Damian Lowe, because on and off the pitch he's a critical player around the squad. Trust me.
I'm gonna answer that one now. Rich O'Shane. Why people are saying, why people keep on saying Liam Bailey and Demar Gray overall? What overall performance are you talking about? What overall performance? Because clearly you're going off a name. Because if you're telling me that the performance that Bailey and what Demar Gray been putting up over the last couple of games is good enough to bring Jamaica forward, no. I'm not saying Cephas and Dixon is putting up numbers, but what I'm saying is their level, that what they're doing for the national team at this moment is not too far from where these players are doing. You get what I'm saying? And we have so much expectation with Bailey and Demar Gray. So once them step down a level, we have to question them. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like we become so comfortable, no matter what performance they do, them things that them still gonna get picking at the team, and we cannot have that. You get me?
Yeah, I just think that Gray, he just unfortunately he just got that injury that's gonna derail him, the backing of the Saudi Pro League. But I just think, looking at him, his performances since Steve Gerrard has got sacked until now, I said it, the numbers not there in terms of the goals and assists, but
Yeah.
the minutes are there per game. You could see his minutes improve a lot. His gameplay has improved a lot. He look a little bit more sharp and more edges. If you just watch him a few games live,
Yeah.
you'd have seen it for yourself that he's right up there back, to his best in terms of just get on the football. He look more bright, he control the ball a lot more quicker and try to move towards the defender. So until he start to put the ball in the back of the net, then I don't know, but for now, I just think it's Cephas just look more dangerous, and it's just not the name. It's just what you can add to the quality of the team. If you can let the team improve, then you should be the way going forward.
Yeah.
We can't have a player on the bench that continue to improve the team, continue to be dangerous for the team, but we still have him on the bench and then playing the name brand player that who is doing something every 3-4 games. When the player that who is more dangerous is doing stuff every game. You understand? So I don't know, man. I'm gonna go back up to some of the comments. I'm saying Gray lost his edge after he went to the Saudi Arabia, and it affected his game and Jamaica colors. When he was shining, it took pressure off Bailey, but now they are both slacking. They need to sit. Well, blame you. Lewis and Casey won the Toulon tournament for England. They, I know Casey was in that Toulon tournament. I don't remember if Lewis. I don't remember. I'm not saying that you're not correct, but I'm just can't remember. But I'm going to look at it. What Maggie needs to upgrade is nervous. What Maggie needs to do to upgrade his nervous level and be more comfortable and confident to play more. I don't know what is going on with Maggie. I don't know, man. I just don't know what's going on with Maggie.
Any thoughts
Some
on it?
someone detonation say, "Yo, we have moved Bosa." I can't even say anything on some of these stuff because how poor some of these players been. You understand? Dixon has already scored half the goals Bailey has scored. Yo, yo, Jaja, one minute. Gray needs to go to Germany or somewhere else. I don't even know if Gray still have that cutting edge to play in those leagues anymore. You understand? Until Low foot pop off and him say him can't play, him I go play for Jamaica. I just Low is one of the man there where him just half a day in the team. It doesn't matter what. I think Gray is playing it safe so he doesn't get injured. No. The thing is, all right, if you look at data, when I think the start of last season, look at the games that he was playing in. He wasn't really playing a lot of games. So me I say no, me I say hopefully him overcome that hurdle and him can get over that by now and start to perform at the level where he should be doing because he's kicking shots at the goal. he's getting crosses into the box. He's taking on player 1v1. You need a little more comfortable, receiving the football. So let's see what's going to happen, man, because this is going to be a big summer because the CFAS situation should be motivating Demar Gray right now. That's who potentially should be on a plane coming to Jamaica anytime soon. You understand? Gray is playing a bit better with all the shots in games lately. So hopefully it can transition into the national team. Gray needs to go to. I read that already. Gray is a better striker than Cephas though. What do you mean a striker? A better striker by hitting a shot towards the goal. I don't know, but I don't know. I think Cephas is a better number 9 if it's that you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying. Gray is a better striker. Is it that you're a better striker after football, striking it towards the goal? I could maybe Gray have a very good shot. We know that. You understand? We know that. Perform at the highest level in top leagues will still give them the nod. To be honest, Jaja, it's tough. It's tough to watch Gray for the national team, especially.
That's true, but is that we're gonna keep relying?
Yeah, yeah. When we're going to bypass that as a team, when we're going to bypass that as a team. If you watch all Gray is playing, he start to let go off the ball fast and not running into tackles like he used to. So as I said, I wish Gray and Demar and Bailey the best in the upcoming games, the next 5 games that and fixtures for us. If they cannot get it right, especially Leon, if Leon cannot get it right in the next 5 games, I'm going to say this: he should be benched if we're going into the knockout round after the Gold Cup. If he cannot get it right in the Gold Cup against Panama, Guadeloupe, and Panama, Guadeloupe, and Guatemala. If he cannot get it right against those teams, he should be on the bench. That's my opinion, to be honest. You understand? Because we are going to a phase where we can't depend on who are play at the highest level. Can't depend on that. We want players who are going to improve the football, players that who are going to make us smile, players that who can help us to win football game. Football game is all about what you did in the last game. You understand? Goodbye to all of the New York Knicks fans. Think when they beat the Boston Celtic, that was going to be that. So tata to the Madison Square Garden. You think when they beat Boston and then just who would have thought that and beat Boston, one of the best team in NBA, and cannot get over the Indiana Pacers. They run on a stumbling block. Cephas is not a striker, but when he played there, he scored goals. I mean, the coach is going to find a way to play both Gray and Cephas. Clive Smith, not easy, Cephas is a better number 9, but Gray is a better shot to the goal. Yeah, I can agree with that part. I can agree with that part. Real talk, we need players who's going to perform for Jamaica, not only their club. And we need them to just make sure that them help us to win football games. That's what we need. You understand? Okay, got it now at King Shavdan the third. But people, we're on the hour mark, and we're going to wrap up things right now. Daniel have his last say. Hopefully, hopefully sometime tomorrow again we're going to come alive, but we're going to discuss a little bit more into Europe with some players as well, and go back into the Unity Cup. That's where we're heading tomorrow on the regular schedule tomorrow for the Nick and Dan podcast. But you want to say anything before I close out?
Yeah, I just want to say, very, very kind of very happy with this Unity tournament. Get to see some players that we never been seen before. You get what I'm saying? And there's a different look. You get what I'm saying? Especially giving Dixon and Cephas the run out, and see the midfield, see the new formation, the 4-3-3. I like that, and give the new striker up top, Barrel. See that we have someone as otherwise I'm just seeing the same set of players, man. You get what I'm saying? And unfortunately we didn't able to win the tournament, but it's a good look. You get me? Enough of them, man, they have to really, really whoever did not participate in this local tournament. When you come back, you just have to, you really have to step up in the game because else the man them game are gonna get take away. Me not care where you play. You could have played for Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world. If you come when you come to Jamaica, you're not performing, you should not play. You should not get the nod over a player where a player at a lower level and he might perform in the national team when he get his opportunity. But you are playing for a bigger club, bigger standard, but when you come, you're not performing. It's very unfair. And we're not gonna go anywhere as a nation if we only think that, oh, this someone I play for this, someone I play for that.
Yeah.
No, it's
You
whoever
know,
play for, isn't
and
it?
look, we know players are gonna get treated differently from the rest of the average players. But Bailey have been treating luxury
Yeah,
since he came through the door.
yeah.
Been treating highly with a lot of respect since he's playing for the national team. So if the coach say, yo, it's time for him to just pack up in boots and start sit on the bench, none of we can see if he might try to beat down the door. You understand? I did miss that comment one early in the show, and somebody say that what was the performance, from Ravel. I didn't really, as I said, I think maybe the game against Nigeria probably could have come on a little bit earlier, but didn't really see much. But when me talk about is with the Isaac Hayden, I've let his presence being a little bit more dominant, forget the ball, a bit more aggressive. I think Ravel shows that by go deep, go right into the defender them face until them have to just leave the ball, let him just walk away with it. There's some that I don't really see much, you understand? But I mean, going forward, if the coach wants to keep him in the qualifiers, that's what you have to do. You understand? But people, we have to make a rush. You understand? Appreciate you guys as well. You understand? Busy and Ming struggle to adjust to the pace of the international game. Yeah, we can say they struggle, and maybe we can just say, it was just the bad timing of let them in, but they did struggle. They really did struggle. But Busy, I was expecting Busy to get isolate 1v1 with a defender to see if he's going to be that expansive winger that we've seen over the years in the Jamaican Premier League. You understand? CFAS need comprehensive training and have a fish eye view. Yeah, man, it's better to us, the local base and English base. This was a good test to show the English based players alone, not gelling the team together. Very interested one that Gray is going to play what? No. We just said this that we don't want to go back to the double pivot where Casey and someone else are play. We want to play a flat three. I think for now what we're seeing it's suitable for that midfield, especially a player like Isaac Hayden. It's suitable and it's very good for him to have a lot of bodies closer to him because he's not the one that's going to dominate that football in that midfield era. So appreciate you as well, King. CFAS is a little bit selfish though, but I guess somebody talks to him because he's passing the ball more. It's just going to come. It's just a natural ability that, CFAS are going to hear the nice, the coaches are going to talk to him, but it's just going to come. That I think maturity going to kick in. That sense of being a footballer, it's going to kick in. And it's good to see that, he actually hold up his head and give Kaim Dixie that football. You understand? So hopefully it can continue going forward. Again, the coach needs to stop making the late changes. I agree with you. Like game management, he needs to be a lot more better in terms of getting the players, in that at the right time. CFAS played better in the final. I think he took popcorn advice that he owed us a goal. Gray can play as a cam. I don't know, man. I don't really want the team go back to a cam. I want the team.
No, I if we're gonna go for a cam, I do like Jonathan Russell there in that pivot in that 3-man midfield, but he's the man that is pushing more further. But I put Gray on the left. If he's gonna play, it should be on it should be on.
Yeah, so people, I'm going to close out now, and Daniel is going to continue his babysitting job. You understand? But people, appreciate you guys. Remember, and here we out. Please, just like the video. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, and Football, Daniel Football Show and our Nikada Media House, whichever one you want, we're streaming on both. You can give us a subscribe and like the video and comment as usual. Yeah, so catch us tomorrow a little bit more early than usual. You understand? So bless upon yourself. Thanks for watching, people. Really appreciate you guys as well in every different way. Like, you guys been supporting the journey. So really appreciate you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Ciao, people. I'm out.
Troublemaker. What's the problem? Huh?